Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Matthew Caesar, and today I give to you my communication skills and ethics presentation on the case of the SAS Flight 751. The events surrounding the crash of the SAS Flight 751 was littered with many communication and ethical breaches. My presentation serves to describe the events leading up to the crash as well as highlight the aforementioned breaches and the cost of them. We shall now take a look at the events surrounding the crash. The SAS Flight 751 arrived at Stockholm from Zurich on December 26, 1991 and was parked at temperatures of around 0 to 1 degree Celsius. These temperatures caused the formation of clear ice on the aircraft overnight. Before the flight, the aircraft was routinely de-iced. However, some of the ice remained undetected on the wings of the aircraft. 25 seconds into the flight, this ice began to break off and enter the engines, damaging their compressors and causing them to surge. The pilots decided to throttle down in order to alleviate this surging. However, the aircraft's automatic thrust restoration, or ATR, countered this action and increased the thrust. This increased thrust catalyzed the surging and led to the eventual failure of both engines at 76 and 78 seconds into the flight. With both engines blown, the risk of making it back to the Arlanda airport was too great, and Captain Rasmussen, his co-pilot, and another of the airline's captain were forced to crash land the plane. The crew managed to glide the aircraft to an open field before raising the nose of the aircraft, hence lowering the speed and crashing into the ground. 4 minutes and 25 seconds after takeoff, the SAS Flight 751 was on the ground, split into 3 parts. Lucky enough, all 129 passengers who boarded the craft survived. I shall now examine the communication and ethical practices displayed throughout these events. There were many displays of good and bad ethics, the most notable of which was the incompetence of the de-icing staff, whose failure to do their job properly put the lives of 129 passengers at risk. They should not have allowed the flight to take place unless they were 100% sure all the ice had been moved. Captain Rasmussen showed good ethical conduct by not compromising the safety of his passengers and ordering a second de-icing after being dissatisfied with the first. Staying true to his profession and seeking the interests of those he was sworn to serve, Captain Rasmussen deserves an applause. The company, McDonnell Douglas, who supplied the aircraft to the SAS, also showed poor ethics by failing to provide the crew with adequate information about the airline, or more specifically, the ATR system. McDonnell Douglas and the SAS put many lives at stake, including those of the pilots, by failing to educate them properly. The flight attendant also showed good ethics by remaining true to her profession and serving the passengers, even risking hypothermia to ensure that the passengers were as safe and comfortable as possible, even after the crash. Communication also played a pivotal role in this crash. The lack of communication between the pilots and the headquarters during flights prevented the pilots from being educated about the ATR. Had they been educated about the ATR, they might not have engaged the ATR and hence not destroyed the engines. The crew also showed proper communication practices when they informed the passengers of the correct positions to take to brace themselves from the crash. This surely attributed to the lack of loss of lives. From the proceeding, we can clearly see that lack of communication and poor ethics greatly contributed towards the crash. Had proper practices been carried out, the amount of damage could have been reduced or even the crash averted altogether. Thankfully, no one died as a result of the crash. However, the emotional and physical damage done to the passengers and even the pilot who lost his career cannot go unnoticed. I thank you for watching and I really hope you learned something today.